Hey, everyone. I'm Summer. Welcome to my channel. Today, I will share the adjustment and optimization process of this role. The video shows my thinking process during the drawing process. Why the adjustment? How was the choice made? Why was it done this way? It is hoped that through the explanation of the process of drawing this picture, everyone can have some new understanding of composition and graphic elements. I also hope this video will be helpful to you who want to learn digital painting skills. So let's start enjoying the wonderful painting process. I modified this picture one night later. When I woke up from sleep and opened it, I found that there were still many problems. To make the picture more harmonious, I have decided to change the current state of the picture. At present, there are several major problems in the picture. The character's hair and the background cannot distinguish the layers. The layers of human skin and some clothing cannot be distinguished. The background did not successfully guide the gaze to the character's head or the design points that needed to be highlighted. The elements in the picture do not echo each other well enough. The triangular attribute graphs are mostly on the left. Most of the circular attribute graphics are in the upper right corner, and there is a lack of connection between the two types of graphics. The point elements are evenly distributed, lacking rhythmic variations and failing to highlight the key point of the head. The colors in the picture are also relatively monotonous. The color changes in the background are more than those of the characters. The primary and secondary colors in the character parts are not clearly distinguished. After identifying these issues, I first adjusted the color of the character's costume, changing the white top to a dark one. This way, the character part would form a larger area of dark patches, and the overall effect would increase. The characters and weapons are mainly in dark colors, with a small amount of gold as an accent in the design. The area of gold in the background is relatively large and somewhat jarring. I reduced the area of gold in the background again, allowing the gold to exist in the form of thin lines while increasing the deep blue. We also attempted to reduce the brightness of the character's skin, so that the silver hair and the transparent areas of the legs would stand out more. The overall body part of the character was of low brightness, while the hair and the semi-transparent parts were of high brightness, increasing the contrast in brightness. To distinguish the characters from the background, I increased the color saturation and lightness in the part of the background closer to the characters, and at the same time added more hue variations. This can also enhance the feeling of the church stained glass windows, as the historical sense and time elements are still retained. Doing so can actually increase the connection with the church glass. In the original background composition, the circular shape on the left side of the picture was insufficient and failed to echo the circle on the right side. I attempted to add a larger arc-shaped area in the lower left corner of the picture. At the same time, I added a low saturation purple-red color in this area to contrast with the large area of blue on the right side, which could also enhance the front-back relationship. The upper right corner of the character's head also features a graphic with sharp corners expanding outward. By combining the circle and the sharp corners, it forms a graphic with a triangular trend, echoing the triangular graphics, such as the harp on the left. Then, the size and position of the floating circular objects in the picture were adjusted. Through the difference in color depth, the spatial front-back relationship of these points was strengthened. After the composition form is changed, the impression the picture gives people will also change, because, when adjusting the background, color changes are added simultaneously. The colors in the background become richer, and the hue changes and lightness contrasts are both strengthened, because a lot of high saturation and high brightness colors have been added to the background. The color of the character part is still too monotonous. I don't want to change the main color of the clothing too much. I added more high brightness and high saturation blue to the skirt and the ribbon, aiming to design the front and back of the fabric in different colors. This way, the area of highly saturated colors can also be controlled, allowing these colors to appear more reasonably in the picture. The picture is an integrated whole. After adding more hues to the background and character costumes, the color of the harp will appear monotonous and dull. I also added some blue from the character costumes in the middle area of the harp. This part can be designed to have a different material effect from the body of the harp later. comparing the scenes before and at this time, the character part can stand out from the background. In the reduced picture, through contrast, I added more color variations in the part of the background closer to the character, because the character's head is the visual center of the picture. When designing the picture, it is necessary to find a way to highlight the visual center area. The most commonly used technique is to create contrast, the contrast of lightness, the contrast of warm and cool colors, and the contrast of saturation can create multiple contrasts by taking advantage of the relationship among the three attributes of color. It is also possible to create more contrasts by using the relationship of density and the changes between graphics. The background part is relatively large in area, and the overlapping area with the character part is also quite large. By using the contrast between light and dark between the character and the background, the character and the harp can be separated from the background. Usually, I would draw the background of the character's dark-colored area in a light color and the background of the light part of the character in a slightly darker color. This makes it very easy to separate each part. I sorted out the line drawing of the human body part again. When refining the clothing, the body shape of the human body still needs to be referred to. The process is similar to the initial drawing of the human body pose. I just sketched the human body on the character's body with smooth lines again. Then, modify the color block graphics of the human body and the tight-fitting clothing part according to the human body structure. Let's take a quick look at the results of this part. When focusing on the character part, it was found that the character part was somewhat top-heavy, with the heavy color concentrated on the upper body of the character. Due to the addition of a semi-transparent effect on the lower body, the color of the calf part became lighter, in order to make the character more stable while retaining the semi-transparent legs. I added dark-colored stockings on the left leg of the character. This can increase the area of dark colors and enhance the overall balance of the character. There is a large area of blue-green in the background. The character and the harp part have no such color at all, which gives a feeling of disconnection between the front and back of the picture. So I tried to adjust the hue of the character's clothing part from dark blue to the same dark green as the background, so that the color of the picture is more unified. The skirt hem is relatively long and the layers have been increased. The existing clothing would appear unbalanced from top to bottom, with the skirt hem growing very suddenly. Therefore, I added 2 shorter layers of fabric at the waist to serve as a transition between the garment and the skirt. At the same time, the added diagonal cut triangular pattern can also echo the existing triangular graphic elements in the picture. Because no line drawing was made between the sketches, the graphics of each part were not definite. This approach has both advantages and disadvantages. As the graphics were not determined, the early stage of the picture would appear rather chaotic, with unclear hierarchical relationships, clothing structures, and structural boundaries. However, because there is no constraint of line drawing, the direction and structure of each part of the picture can be changed at any time. I spent a lot of time adjusting the direction of the skirt hem and the graphic and structural connection forms of the decorative elements at the waist. The areas decorated with gold were also modified. Because I wanted to design the metal parts as ornaments, the sketch only marked their approximate positions. During the refinement process, I adjusted the shapes of these ornaments through the modification of small area color blocks and graphics. The background graphic is a regular positive element. By using circular selection in combination with the superimposition and deletion of multiple layers, it is very easy to make the circular area regular. direction of the hair are similar to the hem of a skirt, resulting in some parallel lines in the picture. So I tried to change the direction of the hair, hoping to give the hairstyle some characteristics, preferably with special symbolic memory points. I designed the hair into 2 large braids and hung a small clock at the end part. This can also meet the requirements of the character. There are 24 clock decorations on the head, which echo each other. When filling in the colors, I deliberately used different layers for each part. I retrieved the selection of each layer and, on a newly created layer, used the stroke function to quickly obtain the edge lines of each part. Based on these lines, I could modify and add new structures and graphics, which could save some time. The next step is the process of adjusting the details of the clothing. I spent a lot of time on the shape design of the waist decorative pendants and their connection forms. This part is also a rather distinctive part of the design. I tried different forms and also attempted to change the original design form during the adjustment. After comparison, I did not choose a subversive version. Only minor adjustments were made on the basis of the existing design, because major changes will alter the composition form of the picture. The current picture is the result of a long period of modification and adjustment. A significant change in the direction of the dress will cause a change in the form sense of the picture, and thus the background and graphic elements in it also need to be changed accordingly. The shape design of the decorative elements on the clothing needs to be unified. I copied the line draft structure drawn on the right side to the left side and adjusted these lines according to the existing patterns on the left side. This can ensure that the designs on both sides are similar. is a relatively important area and the details still need to be strengthened. I newly created a white layer below the lines, reduced the opacity of the layer, and checked the situation of the line drawing part. This way, the problems of the lines can be clearly seen. I redrew the facial line drawing of the character, adjusted the structure of the eyes, and recombed the direction of the hair. I redrew the facial line drawing of the character, adjusted the structure of the eyes, recombed the direction of the hair, and erased the unsmoothed lines. The lines of the body and clothing can be selectively retained. It's not necessary to redraw all the lines completely. If there are no obvious structural issues or roughness in the lines, they can be retained. Only minor adjustments to the problematic parts are needed. This can also save some time. When rendering and refining later, further optimization can be done. I turned off the white fill layer and rechecked the picture. At this point, I found that the upper part of the character had more curved lines, while the lower part had more straight lines. This would make the upper and lower parts of the character somewhat lack connection. So I tried to add more fluttering effects to the left skirt hem, and also added a ribbon of the same form as the right one on the left shoulder. In this way, the character's costumes look as if they are being blown by the wind, giving them more dynamism. The upper and lower styling forms of the characters can also have more connections. I've been adjusting the background and character parts all the time. The harp has not been adjusted at all. Then I modified the shape of the harp. At first, as if adding details according to the existing shape, I added patterns with circular trends at the links of each structure of the harp. After modifying and filling the background color, I found that the shape of the harp was not aesthetically pleasing. At the same time, it seemed to lack some graphic connection with the character. Considering that both the character and the background used circular and sharp triangular graphics, I tried to add similar graphics to the shape of the harp. Doing this part in the silhouette state would make it easier to judge whether the graphics are harmonious. In the background of the character design, there are clock elements related to time. I also added the same elements to the head and decoration of the harp, which can make the elements in the picture more unified. That's all for today's sharing. I haven't finished drawing this picture yet, and I'm still in the process of modifying and refining it. I will upload a new video for the rendering and refinement process of the character part later. But you need to wait for a moment. I hope everyone can feel the joy of painting during the process of painting. I will bring you more wonderful content. Stay tuned.